Hey everybody, I'm going to read you a book called Raining Cats and Dogs by Will Moses, and it is a collection of idioms and illustrations. So, this is a book full of different examples of figurative language that we use in English. I want you to choose one while we're reading that is your favorite one that you'll illustrate. I'm going to go pretty quickly because I have a 15-minute limit on YouTube. But the way this book is laid out is it has an example of the figurative language. Gone to the dogs. It has the meaning in red, a place that has deteriorated or fallen apart. And then it has a sample sentence. Neighbors gossiped that ever since the Joneses moved away, their house had gone to the dogs. Now, the illustrations that you see are a combination of literal and figurative language. In a pickle means someone's in big trouble. Friends warned Maybelle, don't balance on the rim of that barrel, Maybelle. Now she's really in a pickle. Raining cats and dogs. It means raining heavily. The Beverly sisters insisted on walking to church, even though it was raining cats and dogs. Feeling blue means feeling sad. Just thinking about 6 more weeks of winter had poor old Ben and his cat and dog and mouse feeling blue. High and dry. It means being left without a means to survive. No food, no map, and now no water. Methinks we've been left high and dry, the captain said. Shipshape means being neat, tidy, and ready to go. Captain Smucker smiled to see his ship-shaped ship, all scrubbed, trimmed, and ready to sail. Make a beeline means head straight for something as quick as you can. Buzz was tired of the city and intended to make a beeline for the country. Bring home the bacon. Bring home the paycheck. Or for hard work done. Yes, ma'am, you could always count on hard-working Bob to bring home the bacon. Get the ball rolling. Means to get things started. When it came to winter games, these country boys sure know how to get the ball rolling. Get your goat. It means to push a game far enough to get someone mad. When that ogre came by, stealing whatever he saw, he really got Farmer Brown's goat. Horsing around means just playing around. Everybody thought Great Aunt Zelda was just horsing around when she entered the Derby, but she won. Red herring, a clue that has nothing to do with the mystery or situation at hand. The mate said, maybe these fish are just red herrings. Maybe there's something else we should be worrying about. Hook, line, and sinker. It means believing someone's tall tale wholeheartedly. Those gullible fish fell for the fisherman's trick. Hook, line, and sinker. Hanging by a thread. It means leaving someone in suspense. Timothy Mouse wasn't sure if he was going to escape Tomcat or not. He was left hanging by a thread. Going in the hole. It means spending more money than you have. Oops. The miners went in the hole to buy that mine. Luckily, they struck gold. Spilled beans. It means someone is supposed to keep a secret, but instead tells all. What was in the pail was supposed to be a secret until Georgiana spilled the beans and told everybody. Short fuse. It means someone loses his temper easily. Zip. The Baden brothers were a match for the principal. What they didn't know was he had a short fuse. Out in the woods. Out of the woods. A person has a big problem and finally solves it. Hansel and Gretel defeated the Wicked Witch, but they knew they were really out of the woods when they saw the lights of their own cottage. Can of worms. It means a decision that just creates more problems. Inviting troublemakers Jake and John to the fancy party was like opening a can of worms. Sour grapes. It means resenting that some. Let me start over. It means resenting that someone else wins or takes a prize and acting like you didn't want it anyway. It was just sour grapes that made little May say, I didn't want that ugly ribbon anyway, when her totally original grape jam didn't win a prize at the 4-H fair. Butterflies in the stomach. It means someone is very nervous about something. Big Ralph was always so nervous about going to see Dr. Trueblood that he got butterflies in his stomach. Seal of approval. Some kind of note or reward that says to the recipient, good job. Sammy performed so well at the aquarium that he got the trainer's seal of approval, 10 mackerel and a pat on the head. Operating on a shoestring. It means getting something done with very little money. It means ever since the hurricane hit the hospital, here's the sample sentence, sorry. Ever since the hurricane hit the hospital, the poor doctors had to operate on a shoestring. So these pictures show a literal meaning and a figurative meaning, some of them. Operating on a shoestring sounds like doctors in an operating room cutting open a shoestring and performing an operation. But what it really means is that you're getting something done with very little money. So it's like you have a very small budget. So the hurricane hit the hospital. Doctors had to operate on a shoestring. That's not what this looks like. This is the literal. What they had to do was do their jobs with very little money and a very small budget. Kick the bucket. It means it's a sassy way of saying someone died. Old Joe Pye and his big black hearse were always ready for someone to kick the bucket. Bookworm. A person who loves reading so much he or she always has a book in their hands. Hector Vector was a real bookworm. He always had his nose in a book. Even always is hyperbole. No one always has a book in their hand or always has their nose in a book because they have to take a bath and drive a car and brush their teeth, and you can't always have a book in your hand. The last straw. It means a person's patience has finally run out. Having his shoelaces tied together was the last straw. How could Tom the Piper's son possibly win? 10-foot pole. It means how far someone wouldn't go to touch something he or she doesn't want to touch. I wouldn't touch those skunks with a 10-foot pole, Harry said to his brother. White elephant. An object that sticks out and has no use at all. No circus wanted Jumbo, even if he could twirl rings on his trunk. He was just one more white elephant. Wolf at the door. Hard times are upon a person or family. The three little pigs had run out of logs for their fire, food for their cupboard, and oil for their lamps. They just knew the wolf was at the door. Look alive. It means perk up. Look alive, Dr. Frankenstein said to his monster as he threw the electrical switch. Barrel of laughs. It means someone is so much fun that everyone laughs. No question. The Three Stooges are just one big barrel of laughs. My cup of tea. It means one person is just right for the other. Witch Hazel looked at the toad and said, Prince, you are my cup of tea. Warts and all. A person likes another person for all the good things about him and all the not so good things. On their wedding day, Tommy Toad married Tina Toad, warts and all. Well, I can't get the page turned. There we go. Bad egg. A person's just plain trouble, right from the beginning. When Louie started squawking, no matter how much he was fed, all the other chicks knew he was a bad egg. Egg on your face. It means being embarrassed or humiliated by something you've done or said. Senator Featherbrain said he did not have a pet chicken, but when the wind blew his hat off and revealed the chicken, he sure had egg on his face. A load off your shoulders. It means something happens to take your worries away. Plump Jake never thought he'd make it to the top of the mountain, but he did, and it was a load off his shoulders. What a load off his shoulders. Knock your socks off. Spots off. It means this will really surprise you. I've also heard knock your socks off. When it came to boxing, everyone thought Lucky Leopard was champ, but when the match was over, Larry Lion had won. The surprise victory knocked everyone's spots off, including Lucky's. In the doghouse. It means someone is in big trouble with someone else. When Papa got home late from bowling, he was in the doghouse with Mama, who had kept supper warm for him. Get up on the wrong side of the bed. It means when a person gets up grumpy and feels as if he or she will be grumpy all day. It seemed old Grumpy Will always got up on the wrong side of the bed, but this time his children were waiting for him. I have a trap set. Cold feet. When someone brave suddenly loses their nerve. Why not go swimming in January, old Charlie thought, but when he saw the ice on the pond and the two toothy fish, he got cold feet. Up a pole. What's this illustration? It means the place someone is driven when all his or her patience is gone. The weather was hot. The kids were rotten. The dog was howling. It all drove Mother right up a pole. On the ball. When someone is quick to understand or does everything just right. Spry old Mr. Murdoch was still on the ball at 100. Bull by the horns. When someone steps up and tries to solve a problem on the spot. The Tex was my man. Whatever problem arose on the ranch, he just took the bull by the horns and solved it. Let the cat out of the bag. Someone sworn to secrecy has let the secret get out. It's kind of like spill the beans. It's Warden Jones' fault. No one knew what secret was in the sack until he let the cat out of the bag. The writing on the wall. It means you can see ahead just what and when the ending will be. She knew it was the end of the book even before it came. She could just see the writing on the wall. All right, so I'm going to take a picture of the list, and I want you to pick out which one's your favorite, and then I'll give you your assignment.